first list on this book, Hi, welcome back. It's Kay. As you may or may not be able to tell by the title, we're talking about the 5 best books that I read this year. This is in no particular order. I just want to talk about the books that I liked and hopefully get more people to read them. The first book on this list is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This book was fantastic. I read it in, I think, September. I just started grad school and I was very anxious and I had a lot going on and I was unsure if I'd bit off more than I could chew. Could not have been a better time to read something like this. So this book is about Linus Baker, and he is a caseworker for the government in this magical world. And so his job is to go to magical orphanages and evaluate if the orphanage is treating the children properly. At the start of the book, he's asked to visit a specific orphanage that houses the 6 most dangerous children in this world, and he is sent to evaluate if the children are being treated well, but then also on top of that, if the children are safe to be around and still have an existence. And so Linus goes to this island, to this orphanage, and spends time with the children, and they are all so incredibly beautiful in their own unique way. So there's 6 children, one of them being the literal Antichrist, which is hilarious. And they live their lives. They're normal kids. All of the children in this book have really sad trauma issues from the other orphanages they've been a part of that ultimately resulted in them being sent to the one on the island. And it's just heartbreaking to see these kids just trying to be themselves and be happy, healthy, normal children, and the world and humans and society at large, the normal people, treat them bad, poorly, and just give them trauma at the age of, I think the oldest kid is 8 or 9. It's heartbreaking. But it's heartbreaking in the best way because this story doesn't focus on the trauma of these kids. It focuses on the life that they've built on this island at this orphanage under the care of Arthur. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name. It starts with a P. It's right there. That's his name. Oh, we'll do this side. Sorry. It's right there. That's his name. Arthur is such a kind and caring man, and he works so hard to give these kids a normal experience, and it's absolutely beautiful. I feel like my perspective shifted getting to interact with the children and Linus and Arthur. It was such a beautiful book, and please pick it up. If you don't pick up any other book from this list, pick up The House in the Cerulean Sea because it is so good. So the second book on this list is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. First Stephen King book I've ever read, and this book is fantastic. This book follows Charlie Reed, a 17-year-old kid who saves an elderly man. Upon doing this, he is given a job, let's say, to help this man recover from his fall. All of this is on the back of the book. He ends up inheriting the man's house when he passes away, and that's when the story actually begins, because in the backyard of this house, locked away in a shed, is the entrance to another dimension. And this dimension is kind of like a fairy tale world, except not, because all of the good things that happen in fairy tales exist there, but so do all of the bad things. And so Charlie goes into this fairy tale world. He discovers that the world has essentially been taken over by the evils of that world, and those evils are threatening to spill out. And so Charlie has to go on a journey through this alternative dimension, this fairy tale dimension. So I thought this book was really good because I only ever see fairy tales from the good conquers all, everything is great side of things, which is amazing. We love that. But it was refreshing to see a book that talks about good not winning and the evils of the world taking over and fight and attempting to take over more and expand beyond the realm that they've conquered. And so It's a great book, and it's fun to see, like, is Charlie going to be able to save this world from the evils of the other dimension? Can he save that world that's already been taken over? It's such a great book. The next book on this list is going to be Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. So this is actually the sequel to Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and so I can't really say much about it without spoiling either what happens in Ninth House or spoiling a little bit about what happens in this book. And so I'm just going to say that this is a fantastic addition to Ninth House. It continues that story of what's going on with Darlington and where he's gone. It continues that story that starts off in Ninth House. And so if you've read Ninth House and you haven't picked up Hellbent, please read it. It is so good. And if you haven't read Ninth House is amazing. It's about this girl named Galaxy, or Alex as she goes by, Stern, and she is like a high school dropout, and she can see ghosts, which is something that is important in the world that exists in these books. And so she's basically recruited by Yale to become a student and work for the ninth house of the secret societies that exist in Yale. So there's 9 houses. 8 of them are each in like a different form of magic, and then the 9th one sort of polices those 8 houses to make sure they aren't doing bad. And so Alex is recruited to join the 9th house because she can see ghosts. She is the only person that can see ghosts naturally. Everyone else to see ghosts have to like take really gross potions and like do horrible things to their like bodies. The magic in this book is not like standard, like it's not Harry Potter swish and flick magic, okay? It's gruesome, it's bloody and gory, and there's like some grit to being able to do magic in these books. It's really interesting. And so being able to see ghosts is like an incredible skill and asset to have. And so Alex is recruited to the 9th house so that she can watch over all of these other houses and make sure that they're doing good. And her mentor, Darlington, has disappeared. And he was supposed to teach her how to police them properly and ensure that she knew everything that she needed to do. And so this book is told from 2 timelines that eventually the timeline from the past hits the beginning timeline, and then it's just a linear story from there. But so it's following when she first gets to Yale and she meets Darlington and Darlington training her. And then the other timeline is her after Darlington has gone missing and her trying to figure out where exactly he is. Also navigating this job that she hasn't fully been trained to do yet because she was essentially told, cool, well, you've got this. Have fun. And then tied up in all of that, there is a like murders going on in the area. And so she's trying to figure out how that is or is not connected to one or multiple of the 8 houses that she's policing, because she feels like it is, but there's no real way to know that without investigating. And so she investigates, and that's what this book does. It follows her investigating this murder and attempting to police these houses while also following Darlington, teaching her a little bit. And it's a great book. It's so much fun. The 4th book on this list of best books of the year is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. So this book I am obsessed with. This channel is named after this book, or named not after it, but with consideration to the title of this book. Upon reading Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, I recorded my first YouTube video. I did not post it. I have not even edited it. I just have the raw footage of me reviewing this book. And I was so proud of myself. I've wanted to start a YouTube channel for 4 or 5 years now. And I've been so scared to do it. And the fact that Love and Other Words was able to invoke something in me that actually like sat down and filmed a video, I will never ever forget. That being said, the book itself was a 5-star read. This book follows Macy and Elliot, and it is also a 2 timeline book where The first timeline is Macy and Elliot as children when they're like 13-ish, meeting each other, being neighbors, and getting to like interact and spend time together. And then the other timeline is them in present day, not together, obviously. And Macy is a pediatric resident, and she's been working really hard to become a doctor. And then Elliot, she just runs into him at like a coffee shop before work one day, and she's like, and she hides. So good. Immediately I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a great book. Because she sees him and she's like, oh my god, that's Elliot. Oh my god, he's handsome. Oh my god, he looks so good. Hide. And she hides. And then he like sees her and is like, Macy. And she's like, hi. And then she gets her coffee and she's like, I can't do this. And she like runs away. Beautiful. We love that. Like, I was so excited for this book. But basically you get to see them fall in love as kids and then simultaneously have them falling back in love in the present day. But there's a twist because Macy's engaged. Yeah, but it's a great book. I gave this book 5 stars. I've given actually every single book on this list 5 stars. So, yeah. The last book is Becoming by Michelle Obama. So this book is a memoir that Michelle wrote after Barack was no longer president. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but she does a lot of reflection and evaluation of her life and how she got to where she currently was at the point of writing this book. And you learn about her childhood, how she came to become a lawyer, her meeting Obama or Barack Obama, and then the two of them dating, getting married, him becoming a senator, then becoming the president, and her role and life experiences and thoughts throughout that entire process. And this book made me laugh. It made me cry. It was very relatable to me personally as an African American woman who grew up with a single mom. I don't believe that she is from a single parent home, but they did struggle financially. And I, having been raised by a single mom, can relate to struggling financially and being a minority and how that takes a toll on being a child in the world. And so it was really fun to read and see someone being so open and honest about the little things about that. Like, this book was so honest and open and reflective and intelligent. There's not a single thing in this book I didn't like. I gave it 5 stars, which is funny because I don't typically give memoirs ratings because I don't feel like it's my place to rate someone's life. But at the same time, taking out like the life parts of it, like the writing of this book, the message it was trying to portray was a 5-star read book. And then the story was also really relatable and fantastic. So Michelle Obama has a really interesting life, and I would recommend picking this book up. Okay, so those were my 5 best reads of the year. They are all very different. I tried to pick some things from different genres. There were a few runner-ups for this video, but I didn't want to just recommend like basically the same romance book 5 times. If I had to, no, I can't pick which one is the best. Like, there's no ranking these 5 books. They're all so different, and like I couldn't put them on a scale of like 1 being the best, 5 being like my least favorite of the 5, because they were all completely different and had different impacts on my life personally. But you should read them if you have the time, energy, and any of this seemed interesting to you. If you like this video, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye.